So we've been talking about making space for the Spirit over the past number of weeks, exploring these practices that have been meaningful to Christians all throughout our history, because we know that our world is filled with things that draw our time and attention away from God and away from other people. And we are trying to explore ways that we can make space intentionally in our life so that we can notice when God is moving. We have explored silence and simplicity. We've talked about Sabbath and fasting, praying the Psalms and practicing hospitality. We've even looked at ways that we can use creativity through art in creating space in our soul. Today, we're going to look at mission and service. How can we work through our service to others as a way to make space? So, we've got 4 of our youth that went on different trips this summer. They're going to share about their experiences and look at those. So I think with that, I'm going to take my seat. And what we will do first, and it's okay if you can't see me, I'm not the important person on this panel, right? Is we'll start down at the end and we'll make our way back this direction. And just to start, would you share with us what your name is, what trip or trips did you go on this summer, and the most important question, if you could have any animal, real or fictional, as a pet, what would it be and why?
Hi, my name is Hugh. I went on Triennium in Louisville, Kentucky. I would want a red panda because if you ever seen them angry, they put their hands up and they look like they're about to hug you. It's really cute.
Nice. All right, Hugh would have a red panda while he's at Triennium. Okay, next.
Hello, my name is Brant Neitzel. I went on the middle school mission trip in Springfield, Missouri, and I'd probably have a lion as a pet because I don't know, I've always liked lions. Yeah.
So maybe we don't go visit Hugh's place. Okay.
I'm Carrie. I already introduced myself. I went to Memphis and Springfield and Louisville, and I am a fan of a dog as a pet because they are so faithful.
My name is Miroff. I went to Memphis, and the pet that I would have is a dragon because I think it'd be really cool. And you can travel anywhere you want with a dragon. So.
Our pets are getting bigger as we move down the line.
My name's Megan. I went to Memphis with a high school mission trip, and if I had a pet, I would have a great white shark in a little aquarium right above my door so people wouldn't come to my crib.
I love it. This is great. All right, so for the rest of these questions, you all can jump in whatever order you would like. What is something beautiful that you witnessed or experienced on your summer trip? Describe the situation briefly and what made it beautiful.
So for Triennium, one of the biggest things was worship. I mean, they decked out an entire place. I don't know if there was pictures up on during Pass the Peace, but it's really cool to hear 2,000 teenagers singing a worship song. You know, you don't see that every day, but it was really cool.
One thing I experienced is when we were at the food bake the first day, there was this lady named Molly, and she was so happy to see that we helped and volunteered that she bought us ice cream and gave somebody an air mattress. I thought that was amazing, and it just really shocked me. So.
When we were driving down from Kansas City to Memphis, we stopped in a park for lunch. And it was maybe the most beautiful park I've ever been in, and it was in Springfield. And I was like, wow, I didn't know something so beautiful could just be in like a town in Missouri, or like a city in Missouri. I don't know, it was a really pretty park. It had like a cave and stuff, and we did a lot of exploring. It was just really unexpected. Yeah, there's a photo of it. Yeah.
And I will comment This is Sequiota Park in Springfield, which was a mile away from our house. That was our kid, like that's where we would walk and go play in the park. And there are a few beautiful things in Springfield. One or two.
One of the volunteers for Memphis Youth Mission, her name was Asia, and it was really beautiful to see her working with a company like that because she grew up in Memphis and she just graduated college. So to be that young and giving back to your community was really inspirational.
Yes, thank you. So we've talked about things that were beautiful, but we know that these trips aren't always super easy either. So what is something that you witnessed or experienced that was difficult or challenged you?
So, Carrie was nice enough to really plan out our trip for Triennium. And so, the hardest part was probably the bus ride. I mean, it was a long bus ride, just a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, and just boring 7 hours of just straight driving. Yeah.
I'll just add to what Hugh said that we traveled as a delegation to Triennium. So we traveled on 2 buses with youth from northern Kansas, southern Kansas, and Heartland Presbytery. So huge delegation, and yes, that's a lot of coordination. I'm not responsible for it, though. I also want to point out that of the 3 trips, Triennium was the least challenging because it's made to just make you feel really full of fun and joy. So, poor Hugh with his long bus ride.
So the first night in Springfield, we cooked at Ronald McDonald House. And I'm not that great of a cook, so it was kind of hard for me to cook dinner there, but it was still fun, so.
For me, we spent a lot of our time in Memphis, like working with kids and just like bonding with kids. I think there was 2 days that we spent separately working with 2 different group of kids. I have a harder time bonding with kids. I don't know why, but it was just a bit challenging to like try and figure out how to like have conversations with them, especially because they were kids who weren't exactly like having the easiest time in life. So just like trying to find that common ground and just bonding was a bit challenging for me.
For me, we worked at a garden one day, and my brother Ben and Tyler got attacked by an anthill. And so the most challenging thing for me was that I was so scared of these ants. So I was very grateful that everyone else on the trip was there to handle the ants because I would not go near them.
Ants and bus rides. It was a tough summer. Were there places, I'm sure there were, tell me about a place or a time when you felt God give you a nudge or you felt God's presence.
So they did it was a full day, all 3 days, but one of the things we did was interest groups, and one of the interest groups is called Yoga Nidra. Am I correct on that? Which basically means yogatic sleep, which it's a weird feeling between like sleep and not asleep, like you're just in that middle range, and it's a weird feeling. It's hard to explain. Time flies. We did it for an hour. It felt like 5 minutes. Just sitting there in that presence, it felt really calming and peaceful.
Thank you.
Poor Hugh, I keep stealing his mic. I participated in that yoga session also. And like he said, it was the leader led us through a meditation that felt like you were between sleep and awake. And one of the things that she asked us to do in that sort of meditative moment was to imagine what the world would be like if everyone had a roof over their head, if everyone had enough food, if everyone felt safe. And of course, we're all in this very meditative state. The lights are low, it's quiet and cool. And we spent some time, many moments, just reflecting on that. And it is a very powerful feeling to recognize that any change in the world happens because someone first sees it as a possibility. And I found that to be very powerful as well.
Thank you.
So the second day, we were at Eden Village. There's one here. We were first standing a deck, and then it started raining. So I went out to deliver a package while there was lightning and thundering. And I just felt really calm and felt like I was still safe. I don't know, it was just really peaceful. So, yeah.
A time when I felt that God nudged me was when we were in the community garden or just like being together as a group. It just made me feel really like thankful and like have a lot of gratitude for being able to like have the space to provide help for others. In the community garden especially because you're just like laughing and having a good time. And even though we don't know who each plot is gonna go to, it's still like an impactful thing that we were able to do to just help out and be a part of that space.
I really saw God through the other group that was with us. We were with another group from San Francisco, and their church was in the middle of rebuilding, and they told us that it was their first like mission work trip. So it was really interesting to me to see the way that God nudged them to do that, because we've been on a lot of mission trips, so it's not new for our church, but it is new for their church. And so they like took a step, and that was very like motivational for me.
Thank you. So who is a person you met or an experience you had that changed your perspective? Explain what happened and how your thinking changed as a result.
One of the big things is because of a bunch of teenagers, there was like 4 parties, just like dance parties, glow parties, whatever, at Triennium. And I met one of like the kind of leaders during one of the parties, and it was really cool to be just talking to one of the leaders, like hearing their experience, like what's going on behind the scenes. It was also funny because I was in a platypus PJ at that time, so that's kind of how that started. That was one of the glow parties. And it was just it was cool to hear one of the leaders talk about like what's going on behind the scenes, like how they're running it, you know, insights of what happened in tomorrow, like what are we doing tomorrow? And that was just really cool and cool person to meet.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go back to Molly. It's just like, I thought that we were just doing something small to help the community. I was like, oh, we're doing something small-ish, good. And then Molly was just so excited to see us that it just like made me think, wow, we're actually doing something big. And I thought that just really warmed my heart and made me feel good.
And that was at Crosslines Food Pantry,
Yes,
right?
this was at Crosslines Food Pantry. I will say that I think Tyler and I expected to be in a warehouse that day. There we go. We expected to be sorting food sort of behind the scenes. What we found when we got there was that we were being sort of personal shoppers with the people who were coming through the food pantry. And I cannot brag enough on the middle school youth from Pine Ridge. They were so friendly, so kind, so compassionate, so engaging people in conversation and really making an effort to get to know them. I remember Brant commented on someone's Chiefs hat and engaged him in conversation, and they never judged anyone, and people were telling them some stories, and they heard it, and they nodded, and they offered them as much food as they were allowed to, and then they wished them a good day and went to help the next person. I was so impressed. Y'all would have been really, really proud.
One of our last days, I think it was our last day, during the afternoon, we were working with the lynching project in Memphis, and we met this guy named Randy who had spent a lot of time working with and like being part of like the civil rights activities that they would do in Memphis to help like promote more education. And something that he said to us was that our presence of being in an area and just looking at a plaque that they had put up of a lynching site would attract other people's presence onto us, and whether that may be a good thing or a bad thing, it was still important that someone took the time to just look at the thing that we were already looking at. And I've never thought about something like that, because to me it's just like, oh, it's like this is my moment to be looking at something. but with the new perspective that he provided of being like, yeah, you're looking at it, but so are other people because they're looking at you, look at it, if that makes sense. And so that was just really inspiring to like realize that you don't necessarily need to have the confidence to go out and do something, but by paying attention to that something that someone else did, you can also be inspirational.
For me, when we were doing Meals on Wheels, Tyler kept volunteering us to sing for the people that we were dropping off the food for, and literally not one single person wanted to sing. Sorry, Tyler. But it was the fact that the people that we did sing to, they really enjoyed it, and it really, like, you could see how happy it made them, and so that was like a perspective shift for me, because it's like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but it's actually like the highlight of their day, so I need to like stop focusing on myself and start focusing on the people that we're actually working with.
Thank you. So I'm going to pick on Megan for a minute. How many mission trips have you been on now?
This is my 4th one.
So I would be interested, whatever direction you want to take this, but you've been on a lot of mission trips now. What have you learned over these trips? What have you noticed? Is there something that, if you look at them holistically, all together, that you feel like, I'm a different person because of this?
For me, going on all these mission trips has really like highlighted the importance of having a strong church community. Whether it's like with the people that were going on the trip with other high schoolers, other middle schoolers, or the people like our congregation sending us there. The fact that there's a group of people that's willing to like go out there and try and make not just our community but other communities a better place has really helped me grow closer with my faith and with the people of my youth group.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I want to say thank you to our 4 youth. I know, I am someone who gets up and talks in front of people every week, but I'm going to guess there are 1 or 2 folks out there that would not want to be sitting in your chair right now and sharing. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences, but even more so, thank you for going. Thank you for being our representative to Springfield and to Memphis and to Louisville and to all of the people that you met, because it isn't just the work, it is the relationships that you build and the witness that we care, that we are part of this work of the church. So thank you very much.